Hello baker friends, welcome back to Budget Baking Adventures. Today we are making a Hershey mousse pie. Yes, you heard me correctly. This is absolutely perfect to make during the fall months because if it's still a little bit warm where you live in the fall, all we need is a double boiler. There's no baking for this recipe. So this is a no-bake Hershey pie recipe. So depending on your ingredients, this recipe can cost anywhere from about $6 to $8 to make. Okay, so the Hershey bars are going to be your most expensive thing, that and the heavy whipping cream for this recipe. So I was thinking in my mind, I'm going to go to Dollar Tree and I'm going to buy my Hershey bars for $1.25, which would have been very economical. However, when I ran into Lowe's Food to get the heavy whipping cream, because I prefer to make my own whipped topping, you can make this recipe with Cool Whip or the store brand of Cool Whip, and it would decrease the amount that it would cost you to make the recipe, obviously, which is why there's that range there. However, when I went into Lowe's Food to get my heavy whipping cream, they had a 6-pack of Hershey bars on sale for $2.99, which made them approximately $1.14 or $1.16 a piece, which beat Dollar Tree for $1.25. So I have them here that I need to unwrap. I also got my graham cracker crust from Dollar Tree. Now, I've not tried one of their graham cracker crusts before, so this is my first time trying one of theirs, but I am going to try it out today. And you can also get your powdered sugar from Dollar Tree. So this recipe, with an exception of the heavy whipping cream, unless your Dollar Tree happens to have heavy whipping cream or Cool Whip, 90% of this recipe is going to be made with ingredients from Dollar Tree. Like I said, if your Dollar Tree near you has a refrigerated section, you might be able to get all of your ingredients from Dollar Tree. I don't know. But even if you can't, those containers of Cool Whip, the store brands, are usually 89, 99 cents, something like that each. So you can go that route as well. Like I said, I'm just partial to making my own because to me it tastes a little bit better. All right, so I have prepared my my pie crust. What I'm going to do so that you can see everything that I'm doing today is I'm going to move you over to where I have my double boiler set up on the stove. That's where we're going to melt our Hershey bars. So I am going to get us set up over there and I will be right back. Okay, welcome to the stove. Here I've got 5 Hershey bars already put into my double boiler, which I made myself. So what I did was I took my all-time favorite rice pot, because I use it for all things. I put a metal colander inside, and then I put my glass bowl inside of that. Because when you're boiling double boiling chocolate, you want to make sure that no water gets into the chocolate because it will seize it up. All right, so what I did was I took each of my Hershey bars and I just broke them into 4 pieces long ways. Now, if I'm being honest with you, I did taste one and it was delicious, just one of the little squares, because how do you bake with Hershey bars and not taste one, right? All right, so what we're going to do now is I am going to stand here. My water is almost boiling in the pot. I filled up the pot about halfway, about maybe a little less, but about halfway with water. And now we are just going to wait for the chocolate to melt. Okay, so while I'm waiting for the water to boil and my chocolate to start melting, I figured I would come over here and I would get my Cool Whip started, my homemade whipped topping, which really just consists of heavy whipping cream and powdered sugar. So what I'm going to do, I have my whisk attachment already placed on my mixer. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use this whole pint, and I'll tell you exactly how much it is. But I'm only going to do half at a time. So I've got 1 cup here of heavy whipping cream. And then I'm going to start mixing that. And when soft peaks form, I am going to add 1 cup of powdered sugar. So let's get that rolling. Okay, so it doesn't take long for the soft peaks to form. So let's go ahead and add our powdered sugar. Turn it back on until stiff peaks form. We are going to need to give the sides a little scrape just to get the rest of that powdered sugar down into the mix. And we're almost done. Looks great. Let's head back over to the chocolate and see how we're doing over there. All right, looking good. It is starting to melt. Our water is boiling away. It's looking good. It shouldn't be too much longer. So what we're going to do is when the chocolate is done melting, we are going to add our whipped topping to the chocolate. I am going to take it off the heat before I do that, which will require oven mitts. Please do not grab any of this without them. Now this is a very rich pie, very rich. So I say it can feed 12, but it could very easily feed more, only because it's very rich, so you won't need as much. But this is also a fun recipe to make with the kids. Of course, you would take control of this part here, but it's easy enough because it's no bake, and it's a great back to school weekend treat or a fall treat. Now, if you can find chocolate graham cracker crusts at your Dollar Tree, you can pick one of those up. You can use either regular or chocolate graham crust. You can also make your own graham crust if you want to. But just to make it easier, I have purchased mine. Plus, when I was given this recipe, that's the way it was given to me, with using a pre-made graham crust. And I was given this recipe many, many years ago. I tasted it for the first time, and I just had to have the recipe because it was so rich and delicious. And I got it. I got the recipe. So I do call it a Hershey bar pie, but it's almost like a chocolate mousse pie. All right, so this is looking really good. See if you guys can see that. There's a couple little pieces in here that aren't quite melted, but 95% of it is melted. So I'm going to turn off the burner, and I am going to carefully remove the bowl. Okay, those pieces are now melted. I'm going to remove the bowl, and I'm going to move it over there and allow it to cool for just a couple of minutes. And then I'll show you what's next. All right, here we are. We have got our Cool Whip, or our whipped topping, completed here. Now I'm not gonna put this in the sink yet because I need some more whipped topping to put on top of the pie. So I only made what I needed first to put in with the chocolate because I didn't want to get the quantities wrong. All right, so we've got that here. We've got our chocolate all melted and a little bit on the cooler side. Ooh, I got it all over my hand. Okay, now we're going to take this whipped topping and we're going to add it in, and then we're going to fold it in. You don't have to be super duper gentle with it when you're folding it in, but you still want to fold it. Okay, so I'm going to save this because we're actually going to go ahead and make some more here in a minute. And I'm going to go ahead and fold this into the melted chocolate. I could just eat this with a spoon right now. I have a problem with chocolate. I love it. So you see how I'm folding it in? It's coming together nicely. Once it comes together, it's going to look like a chocolate mousse. And what we're going to do once this comes together, we are going to pour it into the graham cracker crust. Then we are going to make another batch of whipped topping to put on top. Then it goes in the fridge to set for at least a couple of hours. The longer the better. Anything that needs to set like this, I prefer to leave it overnight. But because I would like to show you guys what it looks like, I'm going to let it set for a little while and then cut a piece. All right, this looks great. And if at that point, after the next hour or so, it's just not set enough for me to cut a piece, then I will wait and add photos at the end for you. All right, so here we go. Let me taste it. Oh my. Oh my. That's delicious. I'm gonna give it a quick fold with the spatula, just so I make sure that I get everything lifted up from the bottom. Then we're going to pour it in here. Okay, looks great. Let's get her poured in. Yum. Delish. Chocolate heaven. Okay. You know I don't like to waste. So what I'm going to do here is I am going to pop this into the refrigerator while I make another batch of heavy whipping cream that is going to be spread on top. Let me show this to you real quick so you can see what it looks like and the consistency. I mean, it moves, but it's not liquid. Once I get my next batch of whipped topping ready, I'll be back and show you how we spread it on top. Okay, so I've got our whipped topping for the top of the pie. So what I did was I made it the same way I made it the first time. And I used the remainder of the heavy whipping cream that was in the container. You could definitely use less and save the rest of your whipping cream for another time. But I went ahead and just used it all because I don't mind whipped topping. So it only took a few minutes for me to do that. So the pie only had a few minutes to sit in the fridge, maybe 10 tops. So the pie is going to be a little squishy. So you just have to be careful while you're moving this around. You don't want to disrupt the top layer of pie. But it definitely can be done. Just got to be careful. Thankfully, the top layer already has like a little crust set on it, even just being in there for 10 minutes. So I'm a little particular. I like to make sure I get it even. You can grate some chocolate and put it on top of here. You can dust it with cocoa powder if you want to. You can add mini chocolate chips. You can leave it plain, whichever you prefer. If you want to, you can add some chocolate syrup to make a pretty design on top. Whatever you like, you can do. You can get as creative as you want to get, or like I said, you can just leave it like this, which is probably what I'm going to do. Just going to leave it. All right, so there we have it. And then you want to take this. Now, the way that I've stacked it, let me show this to you. I left it a little higher in the center. Ooh, look at that. So when I put the topping on there, I'm not going to be able to clasp it. I'm just going to lay it on top. And I'm going to put it right back in the fridge. And then I am going to let it set for a while. And I will try cutting a slice here shortly. And like I said, if it doesn't work out perfectly, then I will put it back in and I will add pictures for you at the end of this video. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. If you like my videos, I appreciate a like and a subscribe. If you have any questions about this recipe, please leave your questions in the comments. If you've made this pie before or something similar enough that it reminded you of what you've made in the past, please leave me a comment and let me know. I am all about positive comments, so please don't hesitate to leave me one. Thank you again for being here, and we'll see you again soon for some more fall baking. Surprise! I cut a slice. Now, was it ready? No, but I am. Actually, it was funny because as I was cleaning up, my husband came down and he was like, "Ooh, what are you making?" So I told him what I was making. He's like, "Is it ready?" No, not yet. So here I am. I'm going to take a taste. It's so good. All right, let's see if I can show you. So clearly it's not set, but you can see that chocolate mousse right there. Yum! It's really delicious. Now, the graham cracker crust definitely works from Dollar Tree. Although I have to say that other brands seem to hold together a little bit better. This one's a little on the looser side, like the crumbly side, but still doable. Absolutely. So there you have it. There is our chocolate mousse pie or our Hershey bar pie, whatever you want to call it, for about $8 to make. Thank you again for being here. Stay tuned because I'm going to add some footage, let's say, that happened while I was making the video. For whatever reason, my recorder kept playing when I wasn't recording. So I've got some footage for you so you can see a little bit of behind the scenes and what I do when I'm not on here. All right, friends, have a great day. Happy baking. Do this. Oh, it's recording. How nice.